Hi, I'm Mark Cleghorn. Welcome back into the studio. We're kind of doing member questions, and one of the biggest ones we've had through is for Editorial One Light Shoots. What kind of is my basic go-to setup with it? And that's an easy one to answer. As a rule of thumb, I'm going for a 3 meter white seamless paper. 3 meter because it fits into the van. 4 meter sticks out of the van, right? So we've got a long way to go. 3 meter is the one. I've got a 4 meter here in studio anyway. That's up on the wall the whole time. And because I've got a wooden floor, basically when I'm doing editorial, I'll just drop the 4 meter down anyway. Or as you've seen me in the past with shooting with kids, I'd put a vinyl across the floor and lap it up. But because we need a editorial white, so in other words, white with detail, it usually means that the production house, whatever it is, going to be fiddling with the image in some way. So again, if they want all the information rather than kind of the photographic white, so it's a burnt out white, so we kind of got to print straight away with actually no work. So that's the background. As far as the light is concerned, I usually work with a deep octa. In this case, we're using an Elinchrom 1000 ELC Pro HD head. And in the front, we've got a Rotalux softbox by Elinchrom. In here, it's probably about 600, 700 wide, I would think. It's got 2 layers of diffusion, but I do like this deeper dish style. It kind of concentrates the light more. Don't worry if you haven't got it. We've got other soft boxes that will give us similar kind of techniques. As a rule for editorial work, we're usually going for the first part of the shoot is going to be sharpness. So we're looking at F11-ish, kind of around there, F10, to give us that good depth of field. And if we've got time, the creative part of the shoot is basically going to be something around about the F4, F2.8. If we're shooting editorial images for publicists and everything else, they need a good variety, and I would say at least 3 or 4 different shots we need to supply to them, being commissioned, and of course we're being paid by the shot as well when they use them then. And one of the reasons to give me a really quick kind of editorial image, I tend to actually opt then for the dreaded kind of medium zoom lens, in this case the Canon 24-105. You know, as a rule, I'm a prime guy, so I'll usually shoot a 50 or 85mm before anything else. But in this case, for the editorial where I'm going for the stood up to the sat down, the knelt, the 3/4, the close up, the headshot, the creative, a zoom lens really allows me to work faster and faster all the way through. Obviously I'm tethered through. We've pretty much got a show going straight out to the likes of Capture One, as we've done the test shot on here already, as you can see. And yes, don't worry, I know I've got odd socks on. That is one of my quirks I love. But as far as the shot is concerned, the first thing is metering and positioning. Now, as a rule, I try and get the subject about 3 feet at least away from the background. I think the overhead camera shows a good depth there. A little bit of white just in front as well, so there's no kind of edit going to go on. And as far as the positioning of the octa is concerned, it's above me, it's feathering to me. Usually the subject is going to be looking up to me a little bit anyway, so that is what is going to kind of give me great catch lights and so on. But why it's above is to kind of throw its light behind me and onto the background. And this will give me a kind of an image with bright white but not burnt out white, so it's going to minimize the kind of the shadowing that they might have to use for cutout and everything else. When we meter, we're using a meter all of the time, and then all I've got to do is stand where the subject's going to be, meter, switch it on would help, Cleghorn, meter it towards the actual light source so we don't burn out. That's our 11.2, so let's kind of just lower that down in power by 2/10. And again, there we go. So measure twice, cup once is the old thing. And so there's my F11. Okay, that gives me the kind of working aperture. And now we basically just translate that onto the actual camera itself, making sure that the ISO and everything matches. If I'm too close to the background, okay, there'll be a slight difference in exposure, but don't get too het up on that, all right? But really what we're trying to do is keep them in a place So we've got a consistent exposure. The only thing I need to do is when I move from a full length or a headshot style of image, when they go to the floor, whether it's kneeling, squatting shapes, whatever it is, all I've then got to do is basically lower the light source in the same way that basically they have kind of knelt in the same position. Brand, do you want to do a quick shot? Oh, let's get down here, Cleghorn. So as far as the kind of the image, it's still got to go across the top. Let's hope it's focused a little bit. Video and stills doesn't equal at times. Great, thanks Brandon. So we can see on screen, in fact, we've got a little bit of shadowing just coming down the left-hand side here, just on the floor, but we're expecting that 3D with it. Obviously, as far as shadow is concerned, you might be able to see that this light is just slightly off middle, so it's not quite at the 6 o'clock. But if I wanted to, that's no issue. We just kind of drag it in on the dolly, and basically it's now kind of at that kind of 6 o'clock position. And then obviously the white floor in itself, especially if they're knelt down or squatted down, they're basically going to be able to get the likes of a kind of a good catch light within the eye, but we're going to get enough reflectancy back as well and things really. So again, question from Beba, what's my go-to setup for simple editorial work? It would be a deep octa, a 3-meter white background, a 24-105 lens, shooting around about f11 to actually get the shot, but don't forget that little bit of creative on the end, perhaps going down to the likes of f4 or 2.8 if you've got a lens that will allow you to do it. Hope you enjoy this film. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.